This is the 488 GTB, the latest mid-engine V8 supercar from Ferrari. That may sound like a familiar recipe, but this car has a lot to live up to. So first, a quick history lesson. To understand just how important the 488 and its new turbocharged engine are for Ferrari, we need to have a look at its family tree. You can trace the 488's ancestors right through the 70s, 80s and 90s, but here we're just going to focus on two hits from the back catalogue to understand where the 488 has come from and how it takes Ferrari into the future. First, we have Ferrari's last attempt at a mid-engine turbocharged car, the F40. Built in 1987, this car had an engine so violently turbocharged that it became the stuff of legend. Accelerating an F40 and not much happens until 4,000 RPM, but then the turbos spool up and launch the car down the road with one great shove. Fun, but also faintly terrifying. Fast forward 25 years and we come to the 488's most direct predecessor, the 458 Speciale. This is a naturally aspirated car, so no turbos and no supercharger, which offers the same drama as the F40, but serves it up in a more manageable, linear way. That spiky turbocharged delivery is replaced by an engine which builds progressively and produces one of the all-time great automotive soundtracks. Sadly, that engine would also signal the end of an era, as ever-tightening emissions regulations mean Ferrari, and almost everyone else for that matter, have had to embrace turbocharging, which improves fuel economy and reduces CO2 emissions. The fear among Ferrari fans was that adding turbos to the 458 would alter the car's character too much and ruin the sound. So the 488 needs to have the frenzy of a Speciale, but without the terror of an F40. It needs to have the power and efficiency of a turbocharged engine, but without feeling or sounding like it has one at all. I think it's about time to see if Ferrari's pulled all that off. Driving Ferrari like this is always going to be an assault on the senses, but with the 488 things are a little bit different because of that turbocharged engine. It might lack the spine-tingling soundtrack of the Speciale, but it also has 100 more horsepower. It's producing 661. Torque is also up massively, from 398 foot-pounds in the 458 to 560 here. This helps to produce a 0 to 60 time of 3 seconds and a top speed of over 205 miles per hour. To try and disguise the fact that the 488 is turbocharged, Ferrari has tweaked the computer of the car and tweaked how much torque the engine delivers depending on which gear you're in. So gears 1, 2 and 3 all have the same torque map, and then gears 4, 5 and 6 each have their own map. Only in gear 7 does the car actually produce its full torque, 560 foot-pounds. That way the engine delivers its power in a more progressive and linear style, like the Speciale, and less like the spiky F40. All this means the 488's turbocharging is partly disguised in lower gears, but when the revs build, the power is still completely manic. The steering has always been one of the party pieces of modern Ferraris, and the 488's no different. It's quick and communicative, and it gives you so much confidence. This approachability is quickly becoming the hallmark of modern Ferraris. A car like this should have every right to be constantly intimidating, but the 488 just isn't. And if anything, the computer systems are here to help you enjoy the car and get the most out of it, not just save you when you run out of talent. And yes, the indicators and wiper controls being on the steering wheel is still a pain, but it's just something you eventually have to get used to. The gearboxes are also one of Ferrari's party pieces. They're the quickest in the business. It really feels like I'm playing a video game. The speed that they change gear is it's absolutely instant. And then we get to the options list. Now this car standard costs just under £184,000, but no one really buys a Ferrari and keeps it standard, so this car has pretty much everything you could ask for on the inside. All these bits of carbon fibre, they're all very expensive, and doing a bit of maths, we found out that there's about £25,000 of extras in here alone. That's the carbon fibre on the steering wheel, the lights on the steering wheel, the carbon fibre here, the carbon fibre here, the carbon fibre on the doors and on the sills, the seats, the stitching, the leather. It's all an optional extra. And it's much the same story on the outside. this might look like red, but it's slightly metallic and as a result is a £7,000 option. Then there's more carbon fibre on the outside too, on the fins here, on the side, on the front, on the back, in the engine bay. It all adds thousands and thousands of pounds to the cost of the car. All in, this particular 488 will set you back a cool £250,000. This car might have 50 grand of options on it, but you don't need any of it, to be honest. The sports exhaust perhaps, but you don't need any of this carbon. So when you've got an open road and a car that goes like this, that's really all you need. As you might have already guessed, the 488 is without doubt a 5-star car. The way it offers up such incredible performance without being intimidating is perhaps its greatest skill. Here is a near 700 horsepower Ferrari which should terrify you at every opportunity, but instead the 488 is just beautifully balanced, and its side slip control system always feels like it has your back. This car is, quite simply, automotive perfection.